So for this sections, I will try to discuss about the multiple choice for the past paper. So I will try my best to maybe explain one by one and yeah. So maybe let us start from question number one first. So for question number one, okay, you will see that there would be a structure, okay, X, and this structure X in fact is inside like microscope, and you will realize that in fact, okay, it is on the stage. Okay, so this would be the stage, and in fact, it is on the stage. So apart from that, this would be the objectives of the like microscope. So therefore, in this case, we can see that it definitely is not the structure that to help to hold the objectives. So it should be another structure. And for the support of the microscope, and in fact, in this case, it would be the base of the microscope. However, structure X definitely is not the base of the microscope. Next, it is also not the one that fixed the diaphragm, and you can see that in fact there is no any diaphragm behind or under the structure X. So therefore, it is also not the part, okay, for us to fix the diaphragm. So in this case, so only the answer would be it is hold the slide on the stage. So therefore, the answer should be A. Next, where would be the where would be the fertilizations occur in our human body? So in fact, the fertilizations would be occur in the human body definitely, it would be something that we have memorized lots of time, and in fact, it should be the oviduct, the upper part of the oviduct, upper part of the oviduct. So there are several sites. Okay, there are apart from these. Okay, there are several sites. For example, the sites of sexual intercourse. In fact, that would be the site of sexual intercourse would be the vagina. Okay, the vagina, but not the uterus. Okay, and apart from that, the site of implantation, okay, of the zygotes, it would be the, or the embryo, in fact, it would be the uterine lining. Okay, the uterine lining of the uterus. Then the site of ovulations. For the site of ovulations would be the ovary. Okay, the ovary. So in this case, okay, these would be some other facts or other terms that you need to memorize throughout these examinations. So I hope, okay, it can serve it as a reference for you. So next, okay, for question number 3, we are talking about the main purpose of cell division of the living things. So cell divisions of to the living things, in fact, is very important because it is important for them to grow, okay, for them to grow. But remember, okay, although it is not for reproduction, although not for supporting the movement of the living things, and also it is not for removing the waste, but it is quite important that there are two types of concepts you need to clearly define. For growth, it is not referring to the cell growth. The growth is referring to the growth of the living things. So what does it mean, the growth of the living things? In fact, the growth of the living things, it would be mentioning, or we're talking about how the living things become larger in size. So the living things larger in size or increase in size, in fact, it is because there are more, or it has a larger number of cells, but not a larger size of the cells or the cells growth. So the cells will grow, but it will also do cell division. So you need to clearly define whether it is cell growth or it is cell divisions. So the cell division, the function for the cell divisions is to growth of the living things. But cell growth, in fact, is the cells are good enough, or it is large enough for the cell divisions, or they're trying to prepare for the cell divisions. So there is two different concepts, so you need to be aware of it. Next, question number 4, which of the following statement about the testes in the male human body is incorrect? So testes, okay, so that means it is the male reproductive organ. So B must be correct. And male, it has 2 testes, so it should be correct, okay? So male, we normally we have 2 testes. And for testes, it will produce the sperm, okay, definitely. It is the reproductive organ that produces the sperm. While for the question number D, in fact, it should be incorrect. Why? Because the testes are found inside the male human body. Although there is a skin, okay, like the scrotum, cover or embed the or hold the testes, but in fact, the scrotum is outside the body. It is not inside the human body. So in this case, we will say that it is found outside the human body, but not inside the human body. So what will be some organs that you can find inside the human body? Okay, inside the human body. So for example, that would be the ovary. So ovary would be a structure that you can find inside the human body, or maybe our heart, our brain. These would be some the structure or some organs that are embedded in our body. But for ovary, we can only found in the female human body. Okay, the female human body. So for question number 5, okay, in general, the puberty start at the age of 10 to 12. So most of the girls will start at 10, okay, while some of the most of the boys will start at 12, okay. So of course, some of the boys may be a little bit varied, or the girls may be a little bit varied. Not always will be starting at 10. It could be 9 or 11 or even 12. This depends on the individual variations. So this really based on that person's, okay. So not always at 10, but normally average it would be 10 at 10, okay. The puberty start at 10. So question number 6, which of the following shows the fertilizations of a sperm and ovum to produce a baby girls? Okay, so this time we are trying to find the baby girls. Okay, so if you still remember that for the sex or hormones, okay, the sex hormones of the baby girls, in fact, the sex hormone of the baby girls, okay, sex hormone of the baby girl, okay, baby girl, it would be X and X, okay, X and X, okay. For baby boy, okay, baby boy, it would be X and Y. So therefore, as it is X and X, so in this case, definitely the answer should be B. But of course, maybe next time if we ask you about the boy, okay, so in this case, you need to know that it should be X and Y. Okay, X and Y. But you will see that from the options, both A and D would be X and Y. But in fact, there is only one correct answer from A and also D. Why? Because you will see that in fact only the sperm cells can produce the Y. Only the sperm cells can contain the Y chromosome, because Y chromosome can only pass from the father but not the mother. So therefore, the option number D would not be correct if we ask about boy. Only question A would be correct if we ask about boy, because only the sperm will carry Y sex chromosome, while ovum will only carry the X sex chromosome. Okay, so in this case, please be remember, okay, if we are asking about the baby boy. So next, which form of energy that is stored in a hamburger? So in this case, we will notice that hamburger, in fact, is a type of food. Okay, it is a type of food. So when we talk about food, then in this case, that must be a chemical energy. That must be a chemical energy. Next, okay, 5 kilocalorie, okay, would be equals to how many joule, okay? Then in this case, we need to know how many joule for 1 kilocalorie. So that would be 4,200 joule for 1 kilocalorie. So therefore, 5 kilocalorie, it would be equals to 21,000 joule of energy, okay? Just times 5, okay? Then next, a ball is released from a certain height, which shown on the right-hand side. So in this case, the potential energy, okay, the potential energy of the ball, in that it is definitely the highest one. It should be X, because we can see that it has the highest position. It has the highest position. Okay, it has the highest position, and therefore it will have the highest potential energy. Then in this case, for Z, it has the lowest position. So therefore, it has the lowest potential energy. So based on these parameters, so therefore the answer should be A. Should be A. But in the maybe in the test or in the exam, okay, so maybe the questions may ask you about the energy of the ball. Then if we ask about the energy of the ball, then in this case, in fact, the amount of energy of each ball, of the ball, no matter it is in position X, no matter it's in position Y, no matter it is in position Z, they both are the same, okay? Why? Because, okay, X, okay, it do has the highest potential energy, but at the same time, it has the lowest kinetic energy. For Z, it has the lowest potential energy, but it has the highest kinetic energy. So if you still remember that, the law of energy conservation, okay, the law of energy, conservation, then you will notice that in that both X, Y, Z should possess the same amount of energy. So only there is no energy is created or destroyed. But okay, of course, there will be energy loss. So assume there is no any energy loss, then in this case, the energy amount for both position X, Y, and Z shall be the same. Is that okay? So in this case, okay, maybe let us continue to move on. Okay, which of the following appliances will convert electrical energy to kinetic energy and also thermal energy? So we're trying to convert electrical and into kinetic and also thermal energy. So electrical energy, okay, so definitely all three of them, they will convert electrical energy. But for electric iron, as it would not move by itself, so therefore it would not possess any kinetic energy. Rather, it will only possess the thermal energy. So therefore, both 2 and 3 will be correct. Therefore, the answer would be C. Next, Kois hold a plastic cup. So plastic cup, in fact, it is a materials that is good insulation of heat. So therefore, if we fill it quickly with the warm water, it do takes a longer time for the heat or the thermal energy reach to our hand from the warm water. So therefore, okay, the plastic cup, the reason why it takes some time is because the plastic cup is a good insulator of heat, okay? So how is the thermal energy mainly transferred from the heating part of the electric oven to the food? So electric oven, so we notice that there is no any like a heating part, or there is no any fire inside the oven. Rather, it is heated by the radiation. So therefore, the answer should be C. Okay, the answer should be C. So next, okay, the beaker filled with the tap water is shown on the right. So in this case, if you still remember the true or false question in the section A, so in fact, you will notice that for the heated water, in fact, okay, the heated water, it will located on the upper part, and while for the cold water, it will located in the lower part. So for the heated water, in fact, or the hot water, it will locate on the upper part. This is because the water has a high amount of energy and they have a lower density because of the higher temperature. So in this case, okay, it will float on top, okay, while rather than sink in the bottom. So in this case, if we try to heat up the water in both X and Y, okay, both point X and Y, in fact, the hot water will remain on top. Then in this case, there would not be any convection current occur inside the water. So therefore, it would not be an answer for A and B, okay? Then in this case, then how about for cold water? If we're cooling the water at set, okay, if we're cooling the water at set, then in this case, okay, the cold water will remain in the lower part, It would not rise up, okay, so in this case, it will also not generate the convection current. So again, D would not be a good answer. If we try to cooling the water at point X, then in this case, okay, in fact, the cool water will go up, okay, because the hot water, okay, in the bottom part the relative hot water will move upward. It will rise and move upward, okay, to the upper part of the beaker. So therefore, the answer would be C. So which of the three states of matter can easily be compressed? And that it would be based on the property of these three states. So you will notice that, okay, for gases, it do not have fixed volume, and it also do not have fixed shape. For liquid, okay, it has the fixed volume, while it do not have fixed shape. Lastly, for the solid, in that it would have the fixed volume, but at the same time, it will also have fixed shape. So in this case, which one will be easily compressed? Of course, okay, both solid and liquid, it can be compressed under certain condition. However, in the normal condition, we just simply maybe apply our hand. Then which one would be easily compressed? Then that must be the gas, because it do not have fixed volume and also it do not have fixed shape. So therefore, the answer should be A. Okay, so next, Kay's mother is cooking in the kitchen. Kay can smell the food even she is in the living room. So in this case, why? Because the smell particles spread out from the kitchen to the living room, because we can notice that all the particles can move randomly, okay, around in all direction. Next, okay, 16, when a solid change to a liquid, the particles will become, definitely the size of the particle would not change. The size of the particle would not change, okay? So therefore, A and B would not be correct. But now we need to think about which one, the change in state. As it is change in state, it changed from solid state to liquid state. Then how can we change from solid state to liquid state? We need to increase the temperature so that the solid, okay, the solid, in fact, it will, okay, it will increase the temperature. So in this case, the solid will turn into liquid. For example, the ice, why it will melt in room temperature? Because it has a higher temperature. So therefore, the ice will change into water, okay, due to it has a higher temperature, or it receives thermal energy. So as it is increasing temperature, meaning that the particles will vibrate more faster. So in this case, it will move further apart. So therefore, the answer should be D. Next, okay, 17, which of the following apparatus make use of thermal expansion? So in this case, thermal expansion, okay, of course, definitely the thermometer and also the thermostat. While the electric kettles, in fact, it would not make use of the thermal expansion for its functions. It's just mainly, okay, it requires heating up the water by the metals wire, okay, underneath of the electric kettles, but okay, it is not the main functions. Okay, of course, throughout the heating process, the metal wire, it will thermal expand, but doesn't mean that the thermal expansion is required so that the water can be heated up. It is not the functions for it. So therefore, the thermometer and also the thermostat, in that it do somehow related to the thermal expansion. Okay, so therefore the answer would be 1 and 3. And you will see that there is one similarity. When we talk about it is somehow related to the thermal expansion or contraction. The word, okay, it contains thermal, okay, thermal in the beginning. Thermal in the beginning. This is because the terms thermal in the English wordings, in fact, it referring to the temperature, the change in temperature, or the increase in the temperature. So in this case, therefore, 1 and 3 would be the correct answer. Next, in an experiment, 50 cm cube of alcohol is added to 50 cm cube of water. So in this case, we can see that it is two different materials, okay, or two different liquids. So therefore, it do consist of different particles. So in this case, as it consists of different particles, therefore, okay, the smaller particles will fill up the space between the larger particles. So in this case, although both of them add up should be 100 cm cube, but the overall volume should be less than 100 cm cube, but more than 50 cm cube. So therefore, the answer should be B. So the highest chance or most probable total volume after mixing should be B. Steam is formed when water is boiling, okay? So water, in fact, the chemical formula would be H2O. So therefore, it is made up of 2 hydrogen atoms and also 1 oxygen atom. So they stick together. But even though when they are changing in state, the chemical structure does not change, or it does not change to another item. So therefore, it will still remain in this structure, in a Mickey Mouse structure. So in this case, the answer would be C. Okay, would be C. So for question number 20, 4 different substances are found in the container as shown in the diagram below. So we can see that, okay, there are liquid X, liquid Y, and also liquid Z. And in between liquid Y and Z, there is solid P. And we will see that we need to arrange the density of these items in ascending order. Ascending order, it means from smaller density, or the lower density to a larger density. Okay, so therefore, okay, which one has a lowest density? Then definitely liquid X, because it is flow on top. So while on the other hand, which one has a larger density? So definitely liquid Z, because it is in the bottom, it is sink in the bottom. So in this case, but according to it, in fact, X and Z, it should be X should be in the left hand side, while Z should be on the right hand side. So therefore, the answer should be B. Then in this case, okay, you will see that the solid P, if I tell you that liquid Y, in fact, is 0.9 for the density, while liquid Z, it would be 1. Then in this case, for the solid P, what will be the density, okay? So in fact, the density should be in the range of 0.9 to 1, within 0.9 to 1, okay? It should be larger than 0.9, but smaller than 1. Is it clear for that? Okay, so the density of the solid P would be in between these ranges.